It is more in the affordable sector of rentals.
Okay.
About a C minus.
About a C minus neighborhood. It's safe, but yeah, I mean, you're not looking into luxury here. And that's how we see that it makes the most sense to invest in real estate. I mean, that's just our take is that, affordability sector, we always hear it on the news. There's no affordability homes. There's no affordability segment to provide. That's where we focus our investments.
Welcome to Real Talk with Gary. If you are listening to this show, that means you are either searching or ready to make a financial change in your life. This show is not only about real estate investing, but also the importance of mindset and the roadmap to a better, healthier life. Learn the daily routines of successful entrepreneurs and the latest market strategies and trends to stay ahead of the curve. Ready for some down-to-earth, north of the border Canadian talk? Here's your host, Gary Hibbert.
All right, welcome back. And today I've got Wilson Pabon and Jessica Fernandes. They are a dynamic couple. They began their real estate investing journey out here in the Ontario market. And like some beginning investors, they had some challenges with their first investment property. And then when they were looking to grow and expand, if you remember, we were in this fast-moving market out here in Ontario, and it was really difficult to find properties that were cash flowing. And so they started doing their own investigation, started looking at different markets, and they ended up on Edmonton. And so they moved out there. The fundamentals looked great. They were impressed with the growth potential, and it was also a marketplace that was investor-friendly, right? So I wanted to have them in the studio because since then they've become experts in that Edmonton market. And we dive into what is it like investing in Edmonton and moving out there as well too. And the legalization process, because it's obviously a little bit different than it is out here in Ontario. The vacancy rates, what do they like out there? What have they done to stabilize their properties? Because 2022 was a very crazy time. And you know what? You'll be surprised that a lot of the properties are still cash flowing. So it goes to show you that the fundamentals out in that market that they're in is incredible. So really, really interesting conversation and always great hanging out with them. Now, before we dive into today's show, I wanted to share something with you. I had a call about a week ago with one of our coaching clients, and they were deciding on what market, Toronto, should it be Durham, should it be Peterborough? And so I said, look, here's what you need to do. Let's break it down, right? Because we've gone through all these different markets. Which one do you like? And so told me which one it was. I said, okay, so then what do you think is next? And she's like, okay, well, maybe we need to analyze that market. Like, no, we've already done all that. We've done all the analyzing we need to do. And even if you don't know it all, that's fine. I said, the next thing we need to do now is we need to go out and we need to start looking at properties. And if you don't find anything that day, guess what? We'll pick another day. We're going out Wednesday at 5 p.m. And if we don't find anything that day, then we're going out Saturday at 2 p.m. And we're going to keep going out there because here's what you're doing. You're swinging. And every time you swing, you may get a strike, but eventually you'll get on first base. And sometimes you might get on the second base, and eventually you'll hit a home run. This is how it works. This is not rocket science. This is exactly how I was coached in the beginning. It was just to go out there and keep swinging. Because sometimes when you're on route to a couple different properties to look at, and this has happened many times to me, that realtor will call me up and say, hey, Gary, you know what? We just lowered the price. And now I'm like one of the first ones out there to maybe potentially pick up a great deal. So get out there. This market, again, reminds me of what it was like when I first started investing. There was a lot of fear in the marketplace. And it's a great time to be investing, but you got to be smart. All right, so that's my little tip for today. And don't forget, I'm over on YouTube. If you want to watch the videos and the podcast, you can go over there and subscribe. And we are now officially on our summer hiatus. And what does that mean? I'm going to be spending a lot of time up at the cottage. I'm going to be spending a lot of time hanging out with friends and family. But even though we're on our hiatus, do remember we're still here to help you guys. Call us, reach out to us. If you need to take a look at a property, we're still here for you guys. All right. With that, I hope you guys enjoy today's show. And don't forget, please, leave a review, because if you're enjoying it, maybe somebody else may enjoy it too. And hopefully it'll change their lives as well. All right. Take care, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Today's show brought to you by Rent Panda. Rent Panda helps landlords go from listing to lease without wasted time or headaches along the way. Rent Panda provides the do-it-yourself landlord, which is an online platform where you can list your property for free, post your ad on multiple platforms, see tenant profiles, message tenants, schedule showings, get credit checks, build leases quickly and easily. Rent Panda also caters to the more passive landlord who needs to find a tenant, doing all of the leasing work, so all you have to do is sit back and get the best tenants presented to you. Jessica and Wilson, how you guys doing, man?
Pretty good.
Excellent.
Good to see you guys. You guys
Good,
are
yeah.
in town?
Yes. A little bit jet lagged, but we're good.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
So, look, you guys are on episode 148, so we're not going to do your whole beginning story again. So if you guys want to know about Jessica and Wilson, go back to that episode. But what we want to do, this is an update. This is an update in regards to what's been happening in your life. You guys moved all the way out to warm, sunny Edmonton?
Yes.
Yes. The West, yes.
It is sunny.
It's cold out there, isn't it?
It's not that bad.
It's not bad.
I've seen your videos, man. I see like
Listen.
the icicles on your eyebrow. What are you talking
On the
about?
beard. Yeah.
When the truck's starting to start and it dies, I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah, it's cold.
It is cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, man. So what brings you into town?
We're just visiting family. Now we're also seeing our project that we have pre-construction in Mississauga as well.
Yep.
And and coming to see you.
All right,
Bring you
cool.
some,
Well, you
gifts.
reached out to me?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I got ice wine. But we're just doing, I think, water and, I'm having a coffee right now, but maybe we'll have ice wine afterwards. We'll see.
That's a dessert.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
So how long are you guys in town for?
We're leaving tomorrow morning.
Okay.
7:30 in the morning in the middle of a storm. So that's going to be a while, right?
Yeah, for sure. All right. So what's happening out in Edmonton? What are you guys doing out there? How was the move out there? Because I mean, like you guys actually picked up and moved there. It wasn't like you just said, "Hey, let's just invest there." You actually moved there. What made you decide to do that? Because you guys were investing out here in London, I think, right?
Correct.
Yeah, we did do a vertical split in London. So we know about the burst strategy, and we are diversifying now as well we have flips as well now. So, provide that active income to investors as well. So we are.
But you weren't doing the flips here, though. You're doing them out
west.
Out west,
Yes.
okay. But what made you move out there? Was it, it wasn't the warm weather. Was it the cash flow?
It was no. Well, yeah, it was a cash flow, but on top of that, it was just the bubble in Ontario.
Yep.
Like we knew
Yes.
that prices were going sky high.
You guys left
unsustainable.
when? What was it? Last year? Last summer?
It was 2021 October. That's when we took off.
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was last year. Okay.
No, and then the market collapsed February, March.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I mean, we all knew. Well, it wasn't sustainable. And then we saw this opportunity out west where it cash flowed and it hadn't seen any appreciation in the last 10 years. And we're like, well, affordability, a lot of people are moving there or considering to move there. And it's like, well, let's be the ones that connect, help other investors diversify with cash flow. And at the same time, it's a different market.
So how long did it take for you to figure out where you wanted to go? Because it wasn't like you just said, okay, hey, we're going to go to Calgary. You must have been looking at a couple different markets, right?
Yes, we were looking into to stay in the east. So we were looking into Prince Edward Island for investing cash flow as well. Mm-hmm. But there was a COVID bubble there, so we weren't able to go there and just kind of check it out because we were still in our corporate jobs. And, financial freedom is where, you can't be in a job and be able to do what you want to do. That makes you happy, right?
Yeah. You know what? Even when you just said that, like it was like in a COVID bubble, like, man, it was such a crazy time. Couldn't go there. You couldn't do this. And,
Yeah.
And so Calgary was, I guess, open at that time.
So, we were looking out east, couldn't do it. It wasn't feasible. Then we ended up looking into Alberta, both Edmonton and Calgary.
Right.
And the reason why we chose Edmonton over Calgary after visiting both cities was just that the economy in Edmonton is more diverse than in Calgary. And, it is a boom and bust province.
Yes.
Thanks to oil. But at the same time, Edmonton is more diversified. So it sees less of the effects of the bust.
Yes.
than Calgary does. I mean, you got the military base, you got the government jobs, you got Alberta Health Services.
It's the biggest employer in Edmonton. Yeah.
Healthcare,
right?
Manufacturing, railroad yards.
Now you touched on appreciation, right?
Yep.
Or what kind of a market it had there. What were you guys for the last 10 years? What did you see? You obviously looked at some charts. Was it like what 2%, 1%,
1% to 2%?
1%, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and if you account it for inflation, it's actually negative. So yeah.
Right. Okay. But it was the cash flow. That's really what it was for you, because then that was going to allow you guys to leave your corporate jobs.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So then you make the move out there. How do you do it? Do you quit your jobs? Were you able to get a transfer to another? I don't know if they had another office out there in Calgary.
No, what we did, Gary, was we just took a leave of absence. We just wanted to feel out the market there. And we loved it right away. And, we sold our house and we pretty much bought 3 homes with the price of 1 in Milton.
Wow.
And small multifamily. That's what we focus on. So we do the 4plexes. We're pretty good with those ones, and experience, I would say, as well, right?
Okay. So you bought 3 properties, all 4plexes. And did you guys end up living or moving into one of the units?
No, we bought, was it 2 4plexes?
We bought 2 4plexes and 1 duplex up and down.
Correct.
We're living currently still in the basement of the duplex.
House hacking.
Yeah.
And that was just with the sale of
With
one property in Milton.
And what is house hacking? If somebody's listening and they may not have heard of house hacking.
House hacking is what they should have taught you in school to be
Still a
financially
lot of
free.
shit they don't teach in school.
House hacking is when you live in one side of your home and rent the other side of the home. Whether it is that you live in a bedroom or in a basement or on the main floor, it's just pretty much trying to get income in the same house that you're living in. I mean, without that income, your house becomes a liability, right? I mean, every month you got to come with maintenance, taxes, mortgage, repairs.
Insurance. And
But if you're renting it, well, now you got income coming in and your expenses are now tax deductible.
Yeah.
So it's a smart way of starting into life, really, not just real estate.
And I'm sure too, if you got a good accountant as well, you can write off a portion of the home for if you're running your business out of there, like a room, heat, hydro, water. Talk to your accountant. I'm not an accountant, right? But you guys have an active business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, and you're right. Like, I think house hacking is such a great way for first-time home buyers to get into the market, because it allows you to supplement your expenses.
Absolutely.
Right? Yes. Offset it, I guess maybe might be the right way of saying it. But it's a great way to get into the market. And then also when you move, you can now put another tenant into, whether it be the upper unit or the lower unit, wherever you're living. And now you have a rental property. And now you can move to another home. Because look, in the beginning, that first home you buy shouldn't really be your dream home anyways.
Nope.
Right? And this is how you can build wealth.
Absolutely.
Right? So I think what you guys did is a great play.
Thank you.
So you did that. You picked up some 4plexes. What were the price of those? Just so people kind of get an idea of what you guys are purchasing them for and what you're renting them for. And let's do it based on when you first moved there, because I'm sure those numbers are different today, correct?
Yes, they are.
Because I want to talk about the success that you had out in the beginning, and then what's happening now in your portfolio, and then what are you guys doing to sidestep and make things work out there, because you guys are doing this full time.
Correct. Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So some numbers on 4plexes in Edmonton. I hope everyone would be amazed, because we were. So the first one we bought was $575. And the rents looked like were, so main floors were about $1,400 up and $1,200 down.
Okay.
Yeah. Originally, the cash flow before was very good. But we got to think long term, right? So the cash flow was about $1,300
on these 4plexes.
On the
Yes.
4plex, yeah.
Yes, after everything's paid.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day, that is what is the cash flow.
And those 2 4plexes, you own them on your own, or did you have joint venture partners on that?
The first one we completely own on our own. The second one we have a joint venture on.
Okay, so $1,300.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then how did you do the second one? Well, the one with the joint venture partner. Do you guys kind of do like a 50-50 split on down payment, on cash flow? If you're allowed to share that.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
50-50, everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was our first joint venture. So in a way to, give confidence to the investor, we said, okay, you know what? I mean, not only we're going to be managing it, we're in town, but we're also going to be putting our own money on top of it. So we wanted to make it very juicy for that very first joint venture.
To feel comfortable as well.
So we put 50% down payment. We do all of the managing ourselves for that one. And expenses, if there were to be negative cash flow or repairs, and cash flow, splits 50-50.
Right. And you know why I'm glad you shared that? Because look, even when I did my first few joint ventures as well, they were like 50-50 as well. Even though I was managing and doing all the legwork, but at the time, it was more for me to get into doing a joint venture, understanding how it works, doing the joint venture agreements, building the confidence, getting that portfolio going. Because now I'm sure it's different for you guys. I'm sure you're not doing that same split anymore.
No.
No.
Yeah, right. Because now you have the experience, right?
Absolutely.
And I think people miss that part in the beginning, that it's okay to give up more. It's okay to be completely even in the beginning and get the experience, get the knowledge. And now you get, okay, hold on a second. No, the experience is way more valuable than the money.
The money.
Absolutely.
Right. The experience,
Yeah.
you're finding the investment property. Like you're doing a lot of the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every joint venture should be different. It should be catered to the investors involved, right? We do have various joint ventures now, and I can't say that one is identical to the other. We have investors who have children, with special needs, or we have other investors where one of them has been diagnosed with terminal illness, for example, and so the need and greedy in the contract has to satisfy these conditions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So you get out there, you get those properties up and running. What happens next? How large of a portfolio have you guys built out there?
So we have a total of 22 rental units.
Wow.
We live in one of them.
So doors.
Doors.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And how large are these? Are they all fourplexes? Do you have?
It's between semi-detached duplexes up and down and fourplexes.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It doesn't. Well, what, a year and a half? Is that correct?
A year and a half. Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How were you able to scale that fast? How were you finding your joint venture partners, and why this particular strategy?
So we like to provide value to our joint ventures, and we're always here to help. Like you said, it's the experience, right? So we want to provide the cash flow for investors who are, especially from Ontario and British Columbia, because we know that it's almost impossible, right? And we want to provide a win-win situation for joint ventures and to diversify. I think diversifying is good, not just being in one market or, having one strategy, maybe do some flips, maybe do some burrs, whatever suits their lifestyle.
Right.
So we want to cater to that, and we want to form a relationship as well, right? We're here to, just help each other out and provide value.
Now, was there a particular neighborhood or area within Calgary where you guys were investing?
Edmonton.
Edmonton.
No, that's good.
Yeah. There's actually a particular area. It's called the Killarney and Glengarry neighborhoods.
Is that a community?
It's two neighborhoods. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have easy access to the highway, close access to downtown, schools. Mm-hmm. It is more in the affordable sector of rentals.
Okay.
About a C-.
About a C- neighborhood. It's safe, but you're not looking into luxury here. And that's how we see that it makes the most sense to invest in real estate. That's just our take, is that, affordability sector, we always hear it on the news. There's no affordability homes. There's no affordability segment to provide. That's where we focus our investments.
Okay. And so these are what, blue collar workers?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What type of industry typically? Like, are they on the oil rigs? Are they, working in retail?
It varies. Oil fields, of course.
Trades,
Trades.
electricians, plumbers,
Canada Post as well, one of them.
Okay.
retail.
Welders.
Yeah.
Now, in regards to the amount of doors that you guys were able to accumulate so quickly, was there multiple joint ventures, or did you have some partners where they did many deals with you guys?
No, multiple joint ventures.
Multiple joint ventures, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what were some of the challenges you had? Because, when you scale that quickly, that fast, you make a lot of mistakes from time to time.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You make a lot of mistakes or a little bit of mistakes? Lots.
A lot of mistakes, yeah.
I got honest, yeah.
And the reason why I know that, look, man, you can read all the books you want out there, but it's when you actually, when the tire hits the road, it's different. It really is. Because there's so many different moving pieces in it, right? Yeah, so kind of walk us through maybe some of the mistakes that you made and how you've been able to correct it. And
yeah, so one of them was the legalization process. Working with the city at the beginning was super smooth, super nice. The city was actually, it's looking into densifying the city itself. It's got a vision plan to double its population. And so they're putting bylaws and building codes to enable that. That was working pretty well up until the summertime when the city changed the inspectors from publicly, employees to now a private corporation that does inspections.
Oh, really?
So now these inspectors are paid per inspection. So now they're very incentivized to fail you for the slightest things.
Or some silly
I
stuff.
didn't even know they could do that. So they actually did that.
Oh, yeah. So now you see everything's going smooth sailing up to summertime. And now it's like failing. Like
they outsourced it to a private company.
Yeah.
One of our projects, we failed 5 HVAC inspections.
So just specifically in Edmonton, or are we talking like Alberta, like
Edmonton?
Just in
Edmonton.
Edmonton.
It's a municipality who controls that inspectors.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what has that done now for investors in this particular location? Have they just said, you know what, we're not going to continue to invest here? I mean, obviously people are going to continue to, but has that push some investors out of that market and into maybe say Calgary?
I haven't seen that transfer of money that way, but what I do see is that people are now prepared to staying longer into construction just because you need to satisfy these new values of reports, right? It's just now it's a more likely scenario to fail inspections. That's pretty much what it is.
Right.
And, if they're going to the nitty gritty, this little screw shouldn't be that way, or you have to put insulation on the walls of the mechanical room. Yeah, I get it. It's by law, but when you have 4 basements that the city never requested for those, and now you have this one, and that's the only thing you can point out. It's like, okay,
right. So they're really going into the nitty gritty, checking everything out.
Yeah.
And so every time they come back, they get paid again.
Correct.
That's right.
Wow. Okay. So really, and now how long is that? How's that extended the conversion process? Like, are we talking months or are we just talking weeks?
We're talking months.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. So now you got to budget that into your pro forma.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, you have everybody's schedule, right? For example, if you have the ready to cover, you have your drywaller and your modder ready to go, the texture guy following the week after, but then you failed the inspection. Now you have to call back, somebody to complete the installation work, and then you have to delay everybody, and they already have other projects, following yours. So now you have to go back in the line. So that can push the project months back.
Now, are you building relationships with these inspectors? Is it kind of like the same few that you see, or are there that many out there that it's just like a new face that shows up every time?
It's give and take. I don't know. I mean, I have seen the same inspectors in different properties, and they know me. We talk. I always try to bring politics into the conversation because that kind of like distracts them.
Yeah.
It's like us versus them.
We agree we agree on the same thing.
Whenever, you're liberal? Yeah, so am I. You're conservative? Yeah, me too.
Albertian?
He's not thinking about what he's doing.
Well, I guess there are a lot more conservative out there as well too.
Yes, it's very conservative. Yeah.
But you do get the other inspector who doesn't say hello. It's just, I'm coming to do my stuff.
Poker face.
Out of my way, and you failed. Thank you very much. I'm like, whoa.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So do you guys have any projects right now on the go?
Yes, we are completing our last 4 basements.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're all in different stages. One is ready to cover, which we failed at inspection last. Other ones are already drywalled. Other ones are being primed right now. Other ones are in the kitchen is being installed and being finished right now. So it's all different stages.
Yeah. What's the population growth out in that particular market right now? Because I know that is a boom bust city, right?
Yeah.
Is it on the up climb? And also, what are you guys seeing for appreciation since you've been out there? And I mean, obviously, I know things have changed, especially with the interest rates, and I definitely want to dive into that. But what are you guys seeing boots on the ground?
So when we moved there last year, one of the common topics that would come into conversation with investors was vacancy rate. Oh, there's a high vacancy rate in Edmonton, especially comparing it to the markets in Ontario. Back then, it was 7% vacancy rate. Yep. Because we have seen such a mass migration coming into the province that has dropped down to 4% vacancy rate. And you see that everywhere. You see the license plates. You see people talking, oh, are you from PI? Are you from New Brunswick? Are you from Ontario?
A lot of people from Saskatchewan.
BC, Saskatchewan, Ontario, Quebec, PI.
Why?
Affordability.
Yeah. Your money goes further, know. Yeah. New jobs.
Yeah, so you do see that mass migration getting into the market, both real estate, rentals, and as well as buying and selling.
That's right.
So appreciation did hit all-time high in Edmonton. I think it was like around the average home was like $410,000, which is all-time high. Because of winter, prices do come down. That's the normal cycle in Edmonton. But right now we're seeing an early spring as well. So late February, you start seeing, again, more buyers coming back into the market. We had a pretty mild winter. I know, -30, pretty mild.
Dry.
but yeah, no, you're seeing the market picking up again. And I mean, and it's hard to predict where this is going. I mean, you have analysts saying, oh, we're expecting a 3% drop in prices in Edmonton. But you also have other realty companies saying, you know what? We're still super affordable. It's a major city. We still have lots of jobs. Like we're actually expecting a growth here.
Especially it's the hub of the north too, right? So
the key location of Edmonton, yeah.
So with the interest rates going to where they are right now, how has that impacted your cash flow? Like, did you guys go into a fix or did you guys stay variable?
We had to stay variable in our own, property, own self-owned properties because we left our jobs, right? So if we were to refinance into fixed, then our jobs would come into play. You don't have jobs. We're not going to fix, maybe they'll do like a 2-year. That's what our mortgage broker said. But we didn't want to risk it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we were not expecting the interest rates to go this high either.
Nobody was.
Yeah,
I definitely wasn't. I knew eventually it was going to come with the printing of money.
Yeah.
I've been paying attention to it since, I got in the train and understood from 2009, 10. I'm like, okay, hold on a second. They're printing a lot of money. How does this work? And I started understanding the history of money and how it all works.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was going to go that fast. Like I actually thought that they were stuck between a rock and a hard place and that they were going to have to come back down.
Yes.
And look, I still think they're going to now. But who knows? We'll see, right? Because now they're printing money again.
Yeah.
Which is, because of the bank failures and having to bail them out. But anyways, that's another story. So anyways, so it's impacted your cash flow, but you guys are still cash flowing.
So we're still cash flowing. It's not that as high as before. Like I said, my wife was saying we were cash flowing $1,300 in a fourplex before. Yep. Now the fourplex is cash flowing about $200 a month. However, you do get... something goes down, like one of our 102 Street, we had to replace our washing machine. Well, there goes the cash flow for 3 months.
Right.
However, because of this mass migration, now rents are also going high.
Have increased, yes.
And the thing is that there is no rent control. So now up on our renewals, we were charging $1,400. Now we're charging $1,600 to $1,650. Basements are $1,200. Now we're renting for $1,300. It doesn't cover the extra cost, but hey, it's catching up.
Right. Okay.
Slowly, right?
Yeah. So with that, then, were you guys using a lot of the cash flow because you guys weren't working or quit your full-time job? That was a source of income coming in, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So then how then have you been able to continue to do what you guys are doing and not go back to your full-time jobs? Are you guys now back? Are you into it active income? Have you guys created additional businesses? Like, what are you guys doing?
So, or you want to go?
You can go ahead.
I feel bad. You have a nice voice.
You should be. We have a corporation, so White North Management Incorporated. So we are, handyman service as well. So we are providing services to other investors, fixing floors, bathrooms, tiling, kitchens, all that type of jazz.
So like maintenance.
Right.
Yeah. So you're like a renovation, like contractors.
Contracting.
Okay. So you're doing contracting work. So when do you guys start doing that?
We realized that we were going to be needing the active income because, like you said, the interest rates were eating our cash flow. It was around August time.
Yep.
That's when we bought a nice pickup truck for that.
Yeah. Nice. I've seen it. I see it on your stories all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, and now, what do you call that renovation company? Is it still under the umbrella?
Correct. Yeah. So with White North Management, the way that we define it is that it just helps investors, whether it is to invest in the market as joint ventures, or whether it is through long distance maintenance, pretty much being the boots on the ground, being the eyes and ears of investors.
Right.
We have expanded that general contracting service.
Yes.
As well as, maintenance and repairs. So some people have had the need long distance, who own properties long distance, to just cut the grass. Or, hey, I have an eviction process. They left everything. Can you go help me remove everything, clean it up, get it ready for the next viewing?
Okay, so White North Management is the real estate investment company.
It's both.
It's both. Okay.
Yeah.
So everything's really kind of under that umbrella.
Correct.
Is there a game plan to create another corporation? So like an umbrella, under that umbrella?
In the future plan, it is.
Yeah.
Right now, because the general contracting just pretty much started, we don't have enough income to justify the extra cost for
right.
accounting. Yeah. But yeah, in the future, our goal is to have the real estate side of it, general contracting side of it, and then later on property management side of it.
Right. And the reason why I ask that is because I think it's important for people to understand when they're growing what it looks like in the beginning stages.
Yes.
Right. Because, Darlene and I, same thing. We had to kind of go through some of these hurdles and okay, do we start another company? When do we start another company? It's so expensive to start another corporation. It's another, like when I take a look at the amount of money that we spend on taxes on a yearly basis, I can't even look at it anymore. I'm like, I don't want to see it anymore.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's crazy. But these are things that you got to do. And you also have to trust your accountant as well, too.
Absolutely.
Do you guys have any plans to hire anybody soon, or are you just not at that stage yet? But you see potentially where it could go.
Correct. Yeah. Right now, we're just focusing on hands-on tools, right? Once that takes off, then we'll start, hiring now Jeff. Accountant.
An
accountant, yeah.
Because this last tax season, we spent a good amount of hours, sleepless nights going over the receipts and invoices and what was this, what was that? Why don't we just pay somebody to do this? I'm like, okay.
The bookkeeping.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need somebody. Who's the bookkeeper?
Wilson.
That's me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You like it?
No.
No.
I hate it as well too. Listen, man, one of the things that I learned though in the beginning, and I heard this from Oprah Winfrey, was keep strict accounts. And so, I am not good at the bookkeeping. I'm kind of more like I like the bigger vision. Like, hey, this is kind of where we're going. Darlene is really good at the accounting piece and the bookkeeping and keeping me in check. Because I've always got all these big grand ideas, but it's always good to have somebody who can kind of keep things in check, right? But yeah, bookkeeping, man. Oh, if you can outsource, if neither one of you guys like doing it, just do it.
Yeah.
No.
But I will say this though. I will say that it is also important though to at least still be aware of where things are going, because very easily all of a sudden now money starts coming in and it's easy to start spending money real quick, real fast. And in those good times, and all of a sudden you're like, well, hold on a second, how did I just go bankrupt?
Yeah.
And that's where you see a lot of companies all of a sudden like, what do you mean the money? What do you mean it's gone? And all of a sudden it's gone.
Yeah.
And even for us, I don't mind sharing this, is that, even, late last year, Darlene and I, we had to sit down and start taking a look at our businesses and start plugging holes. Like, hey, hold on a second, what's going on here? And what's going on with this business? And because it can easily, slip real fast.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you're like, well, hold on a second, why am I underwater?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I really enjoy doing is, I'm not a professional at anything really, but I do understand the basic knowledge of many tasks and many skills, right? And the reason why I like doing that is not based on need on some of them. I don't need to know how to install drywall. I don't need to understand the plumbing aspect of things, but yet you see me with my plumber and I'm helping him for free, you can say, but in reality, it's at the exchange of knowledge. Now, later on, I know when I have a bigger project or, when the company does grow, if somebody's trying to, pass a fast one on us, it's like,
take shortcuts.
I already know the basic of this. I already understand the concept of what we're doing. Like, it's easier for me to understand it moving forward in a bigger scenario, knowing how each player has to.
I agree, 100%. You should definitely do that. And you guys screen the tenants as well too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I think you should. But then when you get to that point of where you grow, then you can start to outsource it. And then you can say, oh, this is a good property management company, because you can now interview them and ask them questions on what their process looks like. And you're like, no, that's wrong. Or no, that's not how I want you to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, no, just to touch base on Wilson, what Wilson was saying, we also want our joint ventures to feel confident that we have the knowledge and, okay, are we doing it right? You know what I mean? Is everything legal? Will everything be smooth sailing when they, appraise the property? So we want them to feel comfortable and confident that we know what we're doing, right? So,
and look, and when I follow you guys on social media, like you guys, again, you're boots on the ground.
We are.
You're in there. You're in the house. You got you're pulling up 2x4s.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Actually, the way I started doing this was at the beginning. I just just hire a carpenter, hire a plumber, hire an electrician. You guys do your stuff. I'm just a general contractor. That was my vision back then. And then one of our basement projects was completed. We're actually in Ontario. We flew back. The framing got completed. And when we landed, I had already paid him because he sent me pictures. When we landed, like the nails were sticking out an inch where the drywall goes out of the wood in every stud. And I'm like, I don't know this, but that doesn't look right. I already paid him. And then I called my drywaller and he's like, these walls are crooked. Like, look at this, look at that, look at this. And I started thinking, you know what? I didn't know anything about it. If I knew how to do basic framing, I would have looked at it right away and say, boom, red flags. This is wrong, that's wrong. So moving forward, I started saying, you know what? Let me be right next to my trades. Let me absorb their knowledge while helping them out. Yep. And that way, that will help you grow in the future as well. Like, knowledge is not going anywhere. So,
yeah.
Ensure the quality work is there. And if we have to screen new trades, we definitely will do it. We don't just keep it. That's the easy way, right? Oh, yeah, it's okay. No.
Yeah,
it's not,
So what are you guys focusing on in addition to the contracting renovation company? And are you guys continue to grow your portfolio? Are you actively looking for new joint venture capital?
At this moment, we're not. Right now, our plan is complete the projects that we have, look back at them, improve them. So the way we can improve them is some of them have tenants who were there when we purchased the property. And they're using the garage. It's a double car garage. Well, because cash flow has taken a hit, it's like, okay, hold on. Upon renewal, we're not going to renew with them. That's the advantage in Alberta. And we're going to split the garage. And for the next tenants, we're going to increase the rent. You only get to stay in your place. Oh, you want the garage? Well, that's an extra. And we have now 2 garages. So we're just going to be stopping on our growth of portfolio. And we're just going to be improving what we already have. That's for one side of the business. The other side would be general contracting. So we're just expanding now the general contracting services to other investors who want to either flip or invest in Edmonton.
Yeah.
What about reserve funds? Did you guys have like a reserve fund? Is it
contingency?
Yeah. For each property, we do have $5,000 per site. So if it's a semi-detached with duplex, then it's a $5,000 reserve. If it's a fourplex, $10,000.
Yep.
That's for that. We did have a reserve from Ontario when we sold a property in London. However, that's being deployed, throughout all of the properties.
Right. Okay. And then how do you come up with the 5,000 amount? Is it just a number you kind of came up with it, or is it based on 3 months, payments?
So the way we came up with it is just realizing, these projects are, when they're completed, they are brand new mechanicals, brand new roofs, they're solid.
Yep.
However, we do believe that a $5,000 contingency is enough to cover any unexpected emergency expense. Beyond that, again, we would go 50-50 with our joint venture partners.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. And what else? What else are you guys focusing on this year?
Traveling.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you guys were down in Cancun. Was it early this year or late last year?
Late last year.
We're due for another one.
I think Cuba.
Have you guys thought about purchasing any properties like outside of Calgary recently? Like now that, with the market shifting the way that it's shifted, are you going to still continue to invest in Edmonton? I keep saying Calgary, but Edmonton. Or do you plan on maybe looking at another area or even like on the outskirts? Because I know you guys are big on the cash flow, right? And I think a lot of investors have been in the game for a while, love the cash flow. But what are your thoughts? Where are you planning on deploying capital?
We're thinking we're thinking to move in the next 3 to 4 years. Our goal is really to move into the Calgary area, just because that's been our dream.
Okay.
We're either thinking specifically in Calgary or like on the outskirts, which is about Cochrane or Okotoks area.
Okay.
It's very, how would I say it?
Mountainy.
It's very mountainy. It's very cottagey. We like that.
Banff is down there as well too, right? Yeah. I've been there. I remember a few years ago, Darlene had mentioned, I know we were working on some projects and she was a little stressed. And I was like, hey, let's just go somewhere. And I go, wherever you want to go. And she goes, Banff. I'm like, Banff? Go Banff, man. I was like, I want a beach. I want I want drinks. Let me tell you, we went there and I absolutely fell in love with the place.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So that's where you guys are thinking about settling down in a few years and kind of staying there for a while.
Yeah. That's in the future. Like my wife said, 3 to 4 years from now. In the meantime, we do still believe in the Edmonton market.
Yeah.
Again, rents are catching up. And it's a key location city. Again, the average is for a home is $400,000. Like that's still pretty affordable. You still got jobs. The industries are very diverse. Like we do see a lot of growth for Edmonton, and that's where we're going to be still putting our money for the next couple of years.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And the tenancy laws. I can talk about tenancy laws all day, man.
What's that?
I can talk about them. The tenancy laws.
Okay.
In Alberta.
Yeah.
Oh, they're just amazing.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I think that's another reason why you guys decided to move out there, right? Because, what we talked about in regards to after the first year, you can raise the rents to whatever the market can bear, which I think is incredible.
Yes.
What happens if they don't pay, when, the first of the month comes?
So on the second of the month, if they haven't paid, of course, you reach out, see what's going on. But we do issue a 14-day notice of eviction. 14 days you have to pay, or you have to
go.
You have to go. Now, technically, they don't have to go, but you can start an eviction process with the RTDRS, which is like the LTBO, Landlord-Tenant Board of Ontario, but in Alberta, Residential Tenancy Dispute Resolution Service.
Yeah,
there you go.
What's your form called out there?
There is no form. You just apply for the 14-day.
That's it. So you don't out here.
Pay or quit. Yeah.
Yep.
You're the N4. Nothing.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
So you apply. They give you a phone interview kind of thing. It takes about a month, and pretty much adjudicator will ask the following question to the tenant: did you pay within those 14 days? If the answer is no, okay, we'll give you. Are there children involved in the house? If so, then they give you like a week or 2 weeks to vacate.
Okay,
but that's it. That's pretty much.
Have you gone through it?
Yes.
Okay, and it's as easy as you really.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was one. That was for not payment of rent. The other eviction that we did was for damages to the unit.
Yeah.
There was a couple. Violence was happening. They were destroying the place. Police was involved. Police called me, of course. And when I showed up, I said, "Listen, damages. That means that you breached your contract. You have 48 hours to vacate."
Mm-hmm. What are some of the other headaches that you've had with tenants out there? Like any big, crazy, ridiculous stories? Or you guys have good screening processes in place?
We have good screening process. The first fourplex, actually, the one that we bought on our own, we had a gentleman there who just didn't pay on time, didn't care. was asking for the property to be upgraded when he didn't pay a cent of rent. So absolutely not. We actually were visiting Ontario. We were visiting my parents in Mississauga, and we got a phone call saying, he's already been evicted. So I forgot that part. So he was pretty much, his stuff was on the lawn. We said we need it to be removed from our property. And he just was like, I'm going to force myself in the house. I don't care how,
I'm going to burn it down.
I'm going to burn it down.
Really?
And we're like, can we help? Let's talk. What's going on? Like,
that's a good place to start, right? Hey, how about we talk first?
Right? How can we help?
How can we help?
How can we help? We're, win-win situation, right? And it was just like, I'm not going to sleep outside. You have to let me in and I will force myself in. I mean, you're 3,000 kilometers away visiting family and you get this call. So we're in like the middle of the street trying to like calm down, go on the sidewalk,
find a
maybe.
Find a solution. I mean, the problem was that he had kids, right? And I mean, sleeping outside with kids, I totally understand. And I asked him, I'm like, okay, so how can we help?
Yeah.
Okay, well, listen, you want me to leave, but I don't have money to leave. I don't even have money to spend tonight. I don't even have money for my children to eat tonight. Okay, could be bluff. I don't know. Okay, you know what? What if I give you $200? I'll send you $100 tonight. You can go to a motel, feed your family, and the other $100
or an Airbnb.
You can get a truck tomorrow.
Yeah,
man, that would help me lots.
Thank you.
I'm like, okay, well, let's find a solution, right? Like, and I get it. I mean, you're being evicted by fault of your own,
sucks,
your own actions. I get it. Nobody wants to go through it, but let's find a solution. And eventually he ended up leaving. He ended up calling later on again, but that's a different story.
And I think that's important, right? Is you want, like, at the end of the day, it's another human on the line there, or it's somebody in your home. And, I think people forget the part of being just a human.
Yeah.
And I think that was a great way to handle it, saying, well, sorry, too bad, your loss. Saying, hey, look, why don't we see if there's a way that we can resolve this issue, right? Because I'm sure maybe saved your house from getting burnt down. Maybe who knows? Maybe he was dead serious.
Maybe.
Yeah, we were worried. I mean, he was a gentleman at the end of the day. I couldn't say he's not a bad person. He was just
going through
his life situations and not having money. And I get it, right? We're compassionate people.
And that's that. It's not letting your emotions get to you, right? You're running a business. Like my first instinct when he was saying, I'm going to break in, it was for me to call my handyman in Edmonton, change those locks, put boards on the windows, like who can be the most aggressive person here, right? But then later on, then you start thinking, okay, well, what's the reason behind it? I mean, $200, I'm going to pay more for my handyman to do all of this work than for me to just
go, right?
Now, what if I don't offer any money at all, right? And then he just leaves. Now I have $1,000 worth of garbage in my backyard that I need to pay $1,000 to clean.
Right.
Well, $200 is a bargain.
Yeah.
So don't let your emotions get to you. It's okay. Find the solution.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, good advice for sure.
Yeah.
What about your family? Like, what do they think of what you guys are doing? Because that's always a tricky thing, right?
Yes.
And especially because you guys left and went to another province to work on your goals and your dreams and your visions. How do they feel in the beginning, if you don't mind sharing?
No, of course.
And how do they feel now with, the way that the market is?
You want to start? I'll start. My parents were very shocked coming from, European family. It's like, you got to be close to your parents, right? You work your 9 to 5, which in their eyes, that's how they were raised. And that's how it goes, which is everybody's different, right? My parents are very proud. They don't like to always make us feel like we're on top of the world, but they're very proud. They're happy that we're ambitious and we're going to have a great retirement. And they know that, especially for my brother, he's autistic. So I'm going to be there to be his guardian and help him out. And he will not have to worry about money.
Right.
And in order to do that, it's not just the money, it's also the time. That's what we have explained to them. It's the time, right? Like if she kept her professional career in the school board, then how is she going to spend the time
in the future
with her brother? She can't, right? With this real estate, having the passive income, the generational wealth, it's a long-term investment. well, this will give us the opportunity to spend more time with them.
Do you think they understand that now?
They do. I think at the beginning it's a different strange land, right? Like everything is unknown, and do you really believe like this is gonna actually be something? And then you start proving to them through actions of growth and how you're handling and how much time you're working on these projects,
dedication, ambition.
And now they're like, oh wow, like you proved me wrong.
I didn't think it was a joke, kind of like, I didn't think you could go that far. Like, you know what I mean? Like I thought that, you're good at your jobs, and I didn't think that you'd have 22 doors, right?
So
like, yeah.
So now that you have carved the path, it's like, oh yeah, I see that working. Like it makes sense now, right?
So you've made them believers.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. And that's a good story for people that are listening who are thinking about doing this, is that, look, you got to put the work in, number one. Number two, you're always going to have naysayers. And a lot of times those naysayers are the people that are closest to you. And I don't think they do it to knock you down. They do it to protect you.
Yes.
They do it because they haven't done it, or maybe they haven't seen somebody close to them do it and succeed at it.
Yeah.
And so it's more of a protection.
Yeah.
Right? But now you did it.
Yes. We did.
Yeah. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, look, I think you guys have lots of, from what I see anyways, more room for growth. And and you guys have a following now on social, and people are watching what you're doing and paying attention, right? And obviously your joint ventures have reached out to you for a particular reason, because they see what you're doing and what you're building out there, and they want to go on. A lot of times they want to go on the ride that they see you on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? And I just want to highlight a point, is that I know that we say that in a year and a half we did 22 doors. And I know some people, because I used to be that person listening, oh my God, look how many doors they got, and look how many doors I'm getting. I'm getting none, or I'm getting one or two. It's not a competition, right? You know this. It's not a competition. And a fast growth involves dedication, sleepless nights, work like crazy. It's not for everyone. No. Everyone has a different path. So don't take these 22 doors as a competition or as a mirror for people to look, the listeners to look at themselves with it and feel bad about it. But rather it's just, what you're comfortable with. What does your future look like? We did it, but would I recommend this to anybody to work as hard as we are? I would say take it slower, Yeah,
well, look, I think I remember when you guys first reached out to me. I'm trying to remember now, but I think you only had the one door. Maybe two, I think. And then you were thinking about investing in Peterborough.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. That was the option.
And then we did a podcast, because I think you were shifting out to the Edmonton market.
Yeah.
And here you are.
Yeah.
And along that journey as well too, you guys are reaching out to me, and also even for this podcast, you reached out to me again to share your story, to share your journey. And look, I think people think that it has to be perfect before you can go do a podcast or reach out to somebody. Share your journey while you're in the midst of it, and while shit's going wrong sometimes, it's fine.
Yeah.
Because success is not a straight line. It's messy as hell.
It is.
It's ups and downs.
Yes.
It's sleepless nights. It's long days. Yeah. It's why am I doing this? This is exciting. This is so much fun. Oh my God, I want to quit.
Yep.
I want to cry.
Yeah. That is how it looks.
Yeah, it's a bumpy road. However, just look at, enjoy the journey, of course. Have a set destination, have your goals, but enjoy the ride. This is all a growth process. And actually the reason why I wanted to reach out to you to do the podcast was after talking to many investors in Ontario, just saying like, how's the market here? How's the market in Ontario? How's the market in Alberta? A lot of people, the common topic was, I'm negative cash flow. I'm negative 800. I'm negative 1,000.
We can't relate.
And my question was, okay, what if you were to sell it? How much would you cash out? Oh, $100 to $150,000. And they would question me, should I stay negative cash flow to protect this property, or should I just call my losses? I'm like, well, if you're cashing out $160,000, I don't see that as a loss. No. Yeah, sure, it dropped from the peak, but if it's going to cost you $1,000, what does that entail? How's your lifestyle being changed by that, affected by that? You have to get a second job, right? It's less time with the kids, and now you got to maybe pay for daycare for the kids. Now you have to work even harder for that. How does that affect your lifestyle?
It's a lot more strain.
And that's when I go back to, don't let your emotions dictate your business. Be smart about it. Do the math, do the calculation. Okay, if I were to invest that in Alberta, which is my recommendation, I'm biased, I live there.
But we're doing it, yeah.
But it's take the emotions out of the equation. Where does your money work the hardest for you? Maybe in Ontario, but it may be in Alberta as well. So I just want to transfer that thought, to just be open-minded, get the emotions out of the room.
Good advice. Because look, and I talked to Dan Patton about this. He's a mortgage agent that we use at BM Select. And he said, selling is not losing, right? And I think people equate that. If I sell, that means I lost. It's a failure. No, it's not.
No.
Because look, if you're in the stock market and you buy in at a particular price and then you sell at a high price, is that losing? No. So you can sell, you can get out of that position, and you can move into a new or a better position.
Yeah.
And I tell a lot of clients that we have and friends or family that are in real estate, if you're in that situation, it's okay to sell.
Yeah.
But and especially if you're bleeding.
Yeah.
And you can't sustain it anymore. Right. So there's nothing wrong with that. And readjusting, shifting, moving to another location, whether it be in Ontario or whether it be out east or west. Like there's so many different options in this that you don't have to suffer.
Yes.
No. And just to touch base quickly, like when we hear stories about that, I feel sorry for people. Really, I do. Because we are humans, right? And I'm just like, I see our numbers and I see, I'm hearing, I'm negative. No names, but I hear I'm negative $1,000 a month. I'm going to get another job. To me, as Albertians and working, investing in Alberta, I can't relate because the market, like with such little capital, you can make so much. Really, you can have cash flow. Even though at 6%, you could be at $200 a month. You're not negative. You're not at 1,300, but you're not even near bleeding.
Right.
So
if somebody was to come out there right now and do a fourplex based on the interest rates, is that where the cash would be right now, between $200 to $400 a month? Is that kind of where you would see it, or a little bit higher than that?
That's pretty much where it is at. It's got the potential to grow again.
And that's being conservative. Like you're talking about property management, maintenance, vacancy, all that kind of plugged into it, right?
Correct. Yeah. Okay. That's still using the vacancy of 7% because, again, just be conservative. It doesn't hurt.
Realistic.
We do see the opportunity for flips. Again, a lot of people are moving there. The effect of the real estate going up in price, but it also affects the local population who's already there. They afford less. So in our case, for our flips, we do offer, or we focus on multi-generational flips. Right? It's a segment that some cultures use to be able to afford their first home. Multiple, different families living in there, as well as, even if that's not the case, it gives you the opportunity to sell it to somebody who just wants to live in the basement, rent the upstairs, house hack again. It just gives you a great variety of customers, and it's, again, an affordable sector. You're helping out, and you're helping out the potential buyers, and you're also just
providing value.
You're taking advantage of the current market as it evolves.
Yeah. Listen, man, it's been very interesting and entertaining watching your story.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you guys back on again and see where things are a year or 2 years from now.
Yes.
But any last pieces of advice that you can share to anybody who's listening and maybe thinking about getting into it, or maybe they're in a situation where maybe they're considering selling, or whatever it may be. What kind of advice would you give them?
I would say reach out to people who are investing in Edmonton. There's a lot of myths around, long distance investing. Just talk to the people who are boots on the ground. It doesn't have to be us. There's other investors as well. But not only that, if you have $130 on a weekend, you can fly back and forth Toronto to Edmonton. So just come over.
Is it that cheap?
Yes.
Links,
Swoop, and Flair. Flair, be careful. They're not financially
They're
stable.
a little rocky right now.
Are they?
But yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But come out west. Come for a weekend. Take a look. I can I can describe it to you how it is, but until you actually go there and boots on the ground, you're like, oh my God, it's 1 million people. You guys have skyscrapers. I'm like, yeah.
It's a city. It's a
you guys have
beautiful
a
city.
subway. Yes.
LRTs. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have, I saw a moose the other day in the city. So yeah.
Okay.
To say, I mean, if you're struggling in Ontario with cash flow, which we know is the case, we were there. So we were there. So I mean, diversify. If you're nervous, you don't have to talk to us, but if you want to, we're available. We've got social media. You can just reach out and talk to us. We'll have a virtual coffee and just say, talk to me about Edmonton. If you want to feel more comfortable, we're not asking you to sign up for a mortgage right away, but we want investors, especially from Ontario and BC, to open their eyes and see, you know what, there's potential. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need to be bleeding anymore. You really don't. We were there, so we know.
Yeah, look, I think that's good advice, right? Reach out to you guys. You guys are there. Your boots on the ground. You're doing it. You're living it. You're breathing it.
Yeah.
Have that conversation.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's free.
We're not here to make a buck.
Yeah, and then they can follow you and watch you for a while. And that's a lot of times what investors will do. They'll watch you. They'll see if they could trust you, want to know your story.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they're like, hey, I've been following you for a year or 2 years, and I'm ready to do something now. I mean, that's what it's been like for me throughout my whole investing journey is, people always start off with like, I've been watching you for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. And you never know who's watching. You never know who's paying attention, even though they don't say shit for like 2 years, and all of a sudden, boom. Okay, here's $200,000. Like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
You provide value, right?
Yeah.
And you do it from the bottom of your heart. Like with us, you were helping us with no intention of transaction at all, right? And look at your growth. Same with us. We talk to many other investors, and we literally do it with the best intention for you to grow. And most of those advices, some of those is, don't invest here. Like whatever it is that you're doing with your family situation, your money-wise, Edmonton is not the best place. Some people say, why? You just lost a joint venture. I'm like, no, I'm not here. Like, you don't need that. You provide value. When you put people first, the universe works in such a way that comes back to you.
We're here to work as a team too. It's not just, come give me your Eastern money and whatever, Western BC money, whatever. It's just, we're here to work as a team and create a win-win and develop a relationship,
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to get in contact with you guys, learn more about what you're doing, how do they do that?
Instagram would be the best. We're very active on there with our business. We post our portfolio on there. So that would be amazing. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
We'll put them in the notes.
Yeah. We'll have in the show notes as well too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Just in case somebody doesn't want to scroll down, they can hear it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mine would be Wilson.realEI on Instagram.
Mine is investonista.pabon.jess.
All right. Beautiful. Thank you guys for coming in, and safe flight back to Edmonton.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Guys. All right. Enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to today's show with Gary Hibbert. Please don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with your host on Instagram @Gary Hibbert. Until next time, stay mindful and remember, you don't have to be great to start. Just start, and you'll be on the path to being great.